Good evening and welcome to the show. My name is Ron, and it is my pleasure to share a devotional time with you and give you something to meditate on. We are still in 1 Samuel tonight, and we're going to meet a new face. So, let's get started. So, in chapter 17, we got the Israelites and Philistines facing off, each one side of a valley. And Goliath stood and shouted a taunt across to the Israelites. Here are you. Why are you all coming out to fight? He called. I am the Philistine champion, but you are only the servants of Saul. Choose one man to come down here and fight me. If he kills me, then we will be your slaves. But if I kill him, you will be our slaves. Yeah, would be a good way to fight battle. One on one. Winner take all. Be a lot less bloodshed. Okay, so this is this taunting by Goliath has been going on for quite some time, 40 days, I think. So in the meantime, Jesse sends his son David to go take some food to his older brothers who are at this battle. And David gets there and he's amazed that no one's going out there to fight this Goliath. He gets right indignant about it. And finally, he gets a chance to go see Saul. And he tells him, Don't worry about this Philistine, David told Saul. I'll go fight him. Don't be ridiculous, Saul replied. There's no way you can fight this Philistine and possibly win. You're only a boy, and he's been a man of war since his youth. But David persisted. I have been taking care of my father's sheep and goats, he said. Then he goes on to describe how he's killed lions and bears to rescue sheep. Finally, Saul says he can go. Gives him all his armor. David can't hardly move with all his armor on, so he takes the armor off and he goes out to the stream and picks up 5 smooth stones, takes his sling and his staff, and off he goes. So let's read on here. Goliath walked out toward David with his shield bearer ahead of him, sneering in contempt at this ruddy-faced boy. Am I a dog, he roared at David, that you come at me with a stick? And he cursed David by the names of his gods. Come over here and I'll give your flesh to the birds and wild animals, Goliath yelled. David didn't seem to be too intimidated, though. David replied to the Philistine, You come to me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of heaven's armies, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defiled. Today the Lord will conquer you, and I will kill you and cut off your head, and then I will give your dead bodies of your men to the birds and wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. The boy has some faith, doesn't he? And the conclusion, as Goliath moved closer to attack, David quickly ran out to meet him. Reaching into his shepherd's bag and taking out a stone, he hurled it with his sling and hit the Philistine in the forehead. The stone sank in, and Goliath stumbled and fell face down on the ground. So David triumphed over the Philistine with only a sling and a stone, for he had no sword. Then David ran over and pulled Goliath's sword from its sheath. David used it to kill him and cut off his head. That is a serious amount of faith that David had. Now, I guess you have to take into account that he's been shepherding his dad's sheep for a while, and he's killed lions and bears. So maybe this two-legged creature didn't seem like much of a task to David. But take note that David says that God will deliver him. David still has the job to do, but God wins the battle for him. That stone hit its mark perfectly by God. So there again, we have a story that talks about faith in God and taking action, not just sitting back and waiting for God to kill Goliath. David had to take some action, and he did. We all have our Goliaths in our lives from time to time, but you still have to take some action. Tons of prayer and a little bit of action. There's something to meditate on. You all have a good night. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow. The word of this week is still machinations. See you tomorrow.